We will learn how to engineer bodies and brains and minds. Now, how exactly will the future masters of the planet look like? This will be decided by the people who own the data. Now, why is data so important? It's important because we've reached the point when we can hack not just computers, we can hack human beings and other organisms. But our intelligent design and the intelligent design of our clouds, the IBM cloud, the Microsoft cloud.
Well, I want to be an OG on Brian Coin, so I'm going to send you my cell phone number.
It's worthless.
Give me a heads up. I want to make sure I'm in there.
But BS Coin.
As it relates to ETH, the deadline is in May, and so it'll be very interesting to see what happens because the cabal is sort of the axis of regulatory evil. This would be Gary Gensler and Senator Elizabeth Warren. They don't want to follow the D.C. Circuit or the laws that are actually in place. And so, the law states very clearly you can't be arbitrary and capricious as a regulator. You've already got an ETH futures, the same way you had a Bitcoin futures back in November of 2021. So the deadline is in May. It would make sense for them to approve it. Now, could they do procedural things to delay it? Sure, they did that. It cost investors money, and it left a lot of people in grayscale with those very high fees, so on and so forth. I'm hoping that they approve it in May, but I'm skeptical of these people until they're eventually removed from office.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you're joining the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And we have Scaramucci on the spot Bitcoin ETF. Says that he doesn't trust the current SEC to do the right thing. But we should have a spot Bitcoin ETF in May. Now we have China going through hyperdeflation. And we know the emerging markets hyperdeflation is about to speed up because they're going to be going through tokenization and the robots, algorithms, and drones are about to take over. And then, guys, we have the drums are beating. We have President Biden not going through Congress, keeping the drums are beating in the Middle East. And we have former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense says that our military can't handle multiple theaters. And guys, we know it's a movie. Remember, they fund both sides, and the banks are the biggest what? I'll let you finish that. And guys, we have the data centers. Yes, guys, remember, data is the new gold. Data is the new housing. Data is about to take over because AI is about to take over. But then, guys, when you hear about the energy, they talk about Bitcoin, and Bitcoin needs all this energy. Just imagine all the energy that these supercomputers need. And never forget, these drums are beaten because of the fourth industrial revolution, where the robots, algorithms, and drones take the economy over, pay each other with crypto, and the sheep go inside the metaverse. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Mike. Well, the December data showed persistent deflation for a third straight month. On a year basis, consumer prices were the slowest since 2009. Factory gate prices hit the steepest downturn since 2015. Now, demand was weak domestically, but also not a whole lot better overseas. The export figures in dollar terms perked up in December, but for the year, this is their first annual drop since 2016. Imports also clocked their first annual decline since 2020.
Can start with his comments this morning. He thinks that President Biden, and he's a Rosa Democrat, he thinks that President Biden needed to clear this with Congress. I see that every once in a while when a president does something. That wasn't going to happen, right?
Right. I think that was unlikely. It was great to be with you again. And no, Congressman Khan is out early saying that the president and some Republicans like Senator Mike Lee from Utah saying that he needed a congressional authorization. But as you said, I think like pretty much most presidents in the modern era, President Biden has moved forward with what he thinks is the right course.
And do you think it was the right course? And we didn't have much choice.
Well, look, I think we're in a really bad situation here. We're getting sucked into a Middle East conflict. I mean, I think stepping back, you see geopolitical factors popping up all around the world, more than popping up, becoming worse in Europe, now in the Middle East. And of course, there's the looming confrontation with China potentially in the Pacific, and we're not prepared for it. Our military is not capable of handling multiple theaters. The last thing we need is to get drawn into a Middle East conflict, and that's not just because we're tired of it, but because our military doesn't have the capacity. And unfortunately, I don't think the strikes last night are going to make a fundamental difference. The administration itself is already saying that they're anticipating a Houthi reaction and possibly escalation and a continuation of the strikes against shipping in the Red Sea.
Is this the place to be? Data centers?
This is absolutely the place to be. When you think about the trends that are unfolding within artificial intelligence and the impact that's going to have on demand for data centers, the growth is going to be more robust than anything we have seen over the past 2 decades.
So how much, quantify that for me, how much growth are we going to see? If we're at X now, we're going to be at X times by when?
Over the next 5 years, I think you're going to begin to see what I will call a transformational moment for data center demand. This is ultimately going to require billions and billions of dollars of new capital investment into the space that will transform the market and really grow the cash flows of these companies in a way that we haven't seen before.
Cluster of data centers in the country. Dominion Electric, the company that supplies power there, says we don't have enough power so you can't build any more data centers.
That's right. So what you're seeing is that demand is growing at a significantly robust clip, yet new supply is challenged right now, and those challenges are stemming from this power availability issue, which is why the underlying need for infrastructure and transmission of power is so important when thinking about really delivering upon these AI.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. We will, and if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting it more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and you know, when the dealers have to step in to save a Treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know, I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.